Are you gay? Is it a physical attraction truly that you had there?
What?
He was better looking, I suppose.
You could say a lot of things about President Trump. I don't think he's ever really faced gay allegations. We're going to check in with Candace Owens again. And I know these journeys into Candyland do cost us some brain cells, right? We lose brain cells from dealing with the stupidity. But as of late, at least, the drama and tea going on with her is just too delicious. And she is absolutely entertaining, whether you love her or hate her. She is a talented broadcaster. And so we talked last week about that post that Trump sent out on social media, crapping on Candace and on Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and kind of this like new media mega class that has turned against him over the war and other things. And she's now responded in a live stream on her show that has over 2 million views just on YouTube. And she took an interesting tactic. She said, she started asking Trump if he's gay. Yes, seriously. So we're going to unpack that. Candace, here's the Mediaite headline. Are you gay? Candace Owens asks Trump whether he slept with French First Lady, quote, when he was a man. I'm sorry. I just imagine pulling this out of the time capsule from a couple years ago. Like if you could just go back in time and show me this like a few years, I would have been so utterly befuddled. Wait, Candace Owens doesn't like Trump? And she's saying the First Lady of France is a man and that Trump might have been gay and had sex with it? What? We live in truly wild times, and you can't say that it's boring. You could criticize a lot about this media environment that we're in. That's basically most of what I do these days. And when it comes to actually getting at facts or truth, the record is not great there. However, the entertainment value is 10 out of 10. And even, we're going to play the clip of Candace talking about this. And even the entertainment value on that is just remarkable. They keep cutting to like Brigitte as a Muppet. Whoever her production team is, Candace, they do eat. Like they ate down with this. To be clear, I don't actually believe the Brigitte Macron conspiracy theory. And I frankly don't care about the First Lady of France at all. But I do find this whole exchange between the president and one of his former supporters absolutely fascinating. Here's more from Mediaite. Political commentator and conspiracy theorist Candace Owens asked President Donald Trump whether he was gay during a monologue in which she suggested that the president had sex with French First Lady Brigitte Macron, quote, when he was a man. It's really tough to read this stuff with a straight face sometimes, guys, but this is the news. This is what's going on in the world at the moment. Owens lashed out at her former ally on the Candace podcast Friday after Trump accused her of being crazy for claiming that the highly respected First Lady of France was secretly a man when she is not. Quote, crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit, wrote Trump in a Truth Social post, attacking several former allies. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. So this is what Candace responds to when she goes on her rant suggesting that Trump might be gay. And I did say last week when we discussed this, it is wild to suggest that Brigitte Macron is more beautiful than Candace. Because again, like, I'm a Candace Owens hater, but she is beautiful. Like, she is a beautiful woman, and she is well put together, and Brigitte Macron is not more beautiful than Candace Owens. Like, that's just a delusional statement. It really is. Unless somebody pointed out in the comments to me, like, well, not all beauty is exterior, and he could... Okay, sure, but like, we really think Trump, when he's considering the beauty of women, is considering the content of their character? Come on now. That's not what he's at least thinking about. And I just think to suggest that Brigitte Moggs Candace is objectively wild. Obviously, I am not an expert on what makes women sexually attractive. I'm actually probably the opposite of an expert on that. But I can still like see, and I do think that Candace is more beautiful than Brigitte, even though I'm super critical of Candace and I think she's like really, really reckless media presenter and conspiracy theorist. I do think she's gorgeous. Like that shouldn't, and it's not even like attack her on the substance, not on her looks. Anyway, Mr. President, like, but anyway, let's watch this wild, wild clip of Candace responding to President Trump after he called her uglier than the First Lady of France, who she thinks is a man. And now she's going to say that maybe Trump is gay and had sex with Brigitte when he was a man, which also, I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it. Let's just watch the clip. God. Oh, you, oy vey.
You right. Or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. This Brigitte Macron. Who did you write that sentence for? Not even Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron applauded that sentence, okay? They said incroyable. It doesn't help. Sometimes propaganda, when it's too naked, actually just hurts the cause that it purports to support. What is your obsession with Brigitte? This Brigitte Macron in the swimsuit? You think that you can command people, men, straight men, to suddenly think that Brigitte is hot? Jean-Michel Trogneau, are you gay? Why are you so obsessed calling me from the White House? Stop talking about Brigitte. Is it a physical attraction truly that you had there?
What?
When he was better looking, I suppose. Did you sleep with him when he was?
Oh my God. Not them putting up the like Muppet meme of Brigitte. And the craziest thing is they're doing all this while actively being sued by the Macrons. And you're definitely not supposed to do that from a lawyer's advice perspective. Keep talking about the people suing you. But, look, it's diabolical, really. This whole thing is just absolutely diabolical. The back and forth here, I keep thinking of the, like, why are you gay meme? But this time it's Candace saying it to Trump. You could say a lot of things about President Trump. I don't think he's ever really faced gay allegations. That's just not... not something I've ever suspected or wondered. And why? So she's conflating two different things. Like, it actually makes perfect sense to me that he would want her to stop publicly harassing the Macrons, as he was working with the Macrons and the government of France on things like negotiating a ceasefire deal between Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, it actually is probably very politically inconvenient and harmful to have one of the most famous media personalities in your country going on a crusade against the first couple of the country you're trying to work with. So it's not crazy to me. It doesn't mean he's obsessed with the Macrons that he asked her to stop, if we're even believing that's true. That's just, of course, according to her recounting of the call that she supposedly had with President Trump about this. But even if he did ask her to stop doing that, especially because there's really no actual proof, like, I'm just going to tell you, the Becoming Brigitte documentary is not Pulitzer Prize worthy, okay? Like, she relies on this like Chinese AI facial recognition technology that does not actually work at any significant rate, and just matches stuff all the time. She shows this photo of somebody who she's saying is really Brigitte, who's a man, and then Brigitte, and it matches them as the same, but that's her brother. Like, according to Brigitte, that's Brigitte's brother. So of course it would recognize them as looking very similar. Like, and it's a very low, the technology, people have gone through this. If you wanted debunking it, it's out there. Again, I just don't care that much about whether Brigitte Macron has a penis. Like, maybe that makes me the crazy one. But I was always so floored by this, the fact that this even succeeded and got so many millions of views. I was like, who cares about the first couple of France? And also, we already know some crazy stuff about them that's not even contested. Like the fact they got together when he was like young and she was his teacher or something. So it's like, why does it even matter to us as Americans whether they've got this weird thing going on with the first couple of... I don't get it at all why people care. But the fact that it has permeated to this level, where it is now a central tension point between Trump and his biggest supporters in the media, at least former supporters, whether the First Lady of France has a penis, is just such a wild microcosm of the time that we are living in. And I feel like when you're in the moment, you lose sight of how crazy this all actually is. I don't know, man. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments. And let's watch the rest of her clip about this bit amusing about whether Trump is in fact gay. Why are you gay?
Sleep with him when he was a man? Do you think people care? To your point about, I hope she wins money since it's all you see, gold, shekels. Do you think?
Okay, shekels. Candace is not helping herself beat the anti-Semitic allegations. Obviously, she's referring to the currency of Israel. Same way the other day when she said like Trump was officially Jewish as an insult. It's like you're not even really pretending to not be anti-Semitic anymore. And that's really gross. Like it is, whatever you think of Israel and the government of Israel and its wars and its actions, listen, we could criticize that all day, as many Jewish people do. But to actually be openly discriminatory or fomenting bigotry against Jewish people at a time when, like, they face a lot of hate and even violence is disgusting. And yet Candace does it kind of casually and kind of openly now in a way that even Candace herself a year and a half ago wouldn't have done, right? She was at least pretending more. But I feel like she's gone a little bit mask off as of the last year or so. And it's really gross, in my opinion. And the audience just doesn't seem to care. Maybe they agree with it, or maybe they just don't care. I don't know.
You think your base cares when the subject matter is children that are being statutorily raped by their supervisors? Do you understand that no one in MAGA, in true MAGA, cares about money above truth and protecting children? Did you connect that dot when we revolted against you saying, what about the Epstein files? That seems to be a theme with you. Protecting people who harm children. Why do you keep doing that? Why do you want people to be sued for standing up to that class?
Okay, well, I think he wants you to be sued for, like, defaming Erica Kirk. That's what he said the other day where she called him, I said he was officially Jewish. Yeah, he wants you to be sued for, like, libelously suggesting that Erica Kirk colluded with Brigitte, Egypt, and Israel to have her own husband taken out or a cover-up of his murder or something. That does not have anything to do with protecting people who harm kids. Though I'm totally, like, I probably agree with some of Candace's criticisms of Trump's handling of the Epstein files and all that. Setting that aside, that's not the only issue here. And look, whatever you think of Trump and this feud with Candace Owens, for her to be throwing around the money accusations at other people is always wild to me. Because even in this episode, she had like six sponsorship breaks, and they sell each of them for tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. It's like she's not even doing like 2 sponsors an episode. She's doing like 6. And she is absolutely cashing out, printing millions of dollars for herself off her podcast, spewing conspiracies about other people, implying their guilt and crimes and getting facts wrong and constantly shifting the goalposts. So it's like, maybe you should sit out the conversation of accusing everyone else of just caring about money. Like, I think Candace actually does believe her own stuff and is kind of in her own little psychosis. I don't think she's just a liar pretending, who knows this is all BS and just like goes mask on and mask off and is just playing a part. I don't think that's her. However, she should just not go there with the money accusations and accusing people of being monetarily motivated. You might want to look in the mirror a little bit there, my dear. Like, that's not the attack you think it is. In the same way with Trump, calling Candace ugly, or especially comparing her to Brigitte, is also not the attack that you think it is, because it's just not going to land with people. Why are people so bad at like criticizing the people they disagree with in any sort of constructive manner? It really seems like that is quite pervasive now, but I don't know. I would like them all to do better. But that's just my take. You guys have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't yet, and do hit the like button while you're at it if you enjoy the content. If you enjoy me losing brain cells to suffer through the delulu of Candyland here with Candace Owens. And do consider becoming a channel member to support my work if you can, guys. And that'll be it for today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk again real soon.